Police tackle drugs, alcohol and sorcery. Homes burnt down following land dispute. And football fans out in numbers.
This is National EMTV News with Lorraine Gabina.
Hello and thank you for joining us. This is Sunday's News. Police in Northern Province have created strategies to scale down law and order problems. Provincial Police Commander Chief Inspector Lincoln Gerari told MTV News that they have identified 4 factors that is affecting the law and order situation. They are drugs, alcohol, land disputes and sorcery. They have established several units to minimize and control crime rates.
Law and order are critical components to development. The Provincial Police Commander, since he took office early this year, gives an overview of plans to improve the situation in Northern Province.
As a result of the drug, we have established the drugs code, we established the highway, and we established the sea police, and they are doing a very marvelous job. And so far, so good. The results has been very good. Sea forest has been very quiet from June up until now. For drug squad, my men are really on their toes, and they are going into the villages in very remote areas, and they are uprooting marijuana plants. A highway, we have recently launched the highway, and they are doing a very good job. People are now listening to us.
Northern Province shares borders with Morobe, Central and Milne Bay. 80 police personnel are divided into different units supported by the auxiliary, reserves and CBCs.
My men are doing a good job, and I always call them smart blue guys. So that's a bit of pat on the back so that they can do good work for us.
Gerari says that they have established the communication system with the local communities to ensure crimes are reported directly to police using mobile phones on a daily basis.
So whenever they contact me, I contact CID or traffic or whatever, and I tell them that there's something up there, if you're going to attend to it. So even people from Yoma or even Tufi, they can ring me up and tell me what's happening. But, very limited manpower. I just told them that we just have to do what we can within our community to stop this.
Gerari has warned communities harboring criminals to stop such practice as they will face the full brunt of the law. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
The Provincial Police Commander also says funding has hindered policing duties in the province. Chief Inspector Gerari says they need over 250,000 kina annually to eradicate the increasing crime rates.
Amidst challenges of manpower and resources, one of the major setbacks in policing duties is lack of funding. With the increasing number of crime rates in the province, this has placed police in a situation exhausting the funds.
At the moment, we are down with vehicles. All our vehicles is overdue for replacement, and we have no money to carry out the operation.
Finance and logistical support is important because this will make policing plan work, and that is to minimize and control crime rates. Gerari says police in Northern Province at least need 250,000 kina for the yearly operations.
I given on 200, say at least 250,000 a year. That will help me to do the job better. Because we need to send the men out to do the job out in the rural areas. We need fuel, we need food stuff and all that. So, when I calculate that one, it's only up to 250,000 a year.
Seeing the need for good policing, the province political bureaucrats are now working closely with police, providing the much needed support.
Police is very, very important. We must provide services to the people, regardless of what. Whether we have money or not, we got to do our job. We're going to provide services to the people of our province.
In Popondetta, the Northern Province, Fabian Hakelitz, National MTV News.
8 homes and 1 trade store belonging to the Nimukiri Goroha people along the Magi Highway were burnt down this morning by neighboring Gereka residents over a land dispute. No casualties were reported, however 6 were injured. 1 man is currently admitted at the Port Moresby General Hospital.
Police intervention 20 minutes later did nothing to lessen the damages brought on by the Gereka people. Residents looked on in despair as what they once knew as home now lay in ruins.
All our houses are just down to the ground. We have nothing with it. We are only wearing what we are wearing. That's all we have.
Udia Boge, one of many homeowners, explained that the Gereka party had in fact confronted him the day before they attacked. At around 8 this morning, the Gereka occupants attacked them armed with guns and knives.
And 6 monkey plum plum or kissing bagarap. So you look him now, got house plum stop of fire. No got haplo, silip now.
The land, as he tried to explain to them, was currently before the courts in a separate dispute between his people and the state.
Put him all line state go court. Mipla put him all state go court. So case is pending now. They want to pull a fence. This is how all the problem come up.
Milisi Gaviro, National MTV News.
More youths enroll in Popondetta and Australia secures a refugee resettlement deal with the United States. That's after the break. Welcome back to the news. U.S. Ambassador at Large for Global Women's Issues, Catherine Russell, today visited the Women's Trade Center in the drive to address the issues faced by women in Papua New Guinea. Russell leads the U.S. Secretary's Office of Global Women's Issues efforts to advance gender equality and the empowerment of women and girls around the world.
Ambassador Russell, accompanied by the U.S. Ambassador to PNG, Catherine Ebert-Gray, and her entourage, and founder of Host Women in Business, Janet Sape, took the time to marvel at the local handiwork before addressing the women. In her address, she drove home the importance of women's participation in any nation's development.
And we all need to support each other, and we need to make it possible for women to go far if we really want countries to do well.
She took quite an interest in the message behind the Women in Business logo.
There's an African saying that it popped into my mind as I was watching you, which is, if you want to go fast, go alone, and if you want to go far, go together. And I think that really, I was struck by that and when you were describing what your logo means.
In her role, Ambassador Russell also addresses gender-based violence, investing in adolescent girls, and integrating women's issues into U.S. foreign policy.
And ultimately, President Obama says all the time that countries will never succeed unless the women in those countries succeed. So,
Milisi Gafiro, National MTV News.
An increase in new enrollments during the electoral roll update in the Popondetta urban local level government is likely to see more eligible voters of the 2017 general elections. Most new enrollments were young people 18 years of age who wanted to exercise their democratic rights. Fabian Hakelitz visited the electoral team in Popondetta.
MTV News caught up with the Ward 3 team who are updating the electoral roll in Popondetta town. According to electoral agent Trofimus Vaso, since the update began on Tuesday, there was an increase with new enrollments.
For new enrollments alone, I would say that we had an increase in the new number of enrollments, especially those who are above 18 years.
The electoral roll maintenance was also conducted for the deceased and for any additional information required before next year's national election. The electoral officials called on the people to get enrolled so they can exercise their democratic rights.
Should come forward to enroll enroll their names so that we take their names on board. So they are prepared for the coming elections, which would be next year.
The electoral roll update that began on Tuesday was completed yesterday. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
Turning overseas now, the Australian federal government has secured a refugee resettlement deal with the United States. Asylum seekers on Nauru and Manus Island will be given clear choice to move to America or to stay put for the next 20 years.
Rob, the Turnbull government finally has an option for moving refugees off Manus Island and Nauru under a new arrangement with the Obama administration. Essentially, asylum seekers will get two choices: move to the United States if they pass security checks and resettle there, or stay put and potentially live under a 20-year visa on Nauru. Women and children will be among the first to be assessed.
It is a one-off agreement. It will not be repeated.
We will certainly, in principle, work with the government, subject to seeing the detail, but we do welcome this.
Refugee groups have cautiously welcomed the announcement, saying the United States is the best option for refugees so far.
The quicker the better in terms of evacuating people to safety.
But the deal has also sparked fears of a wave of new boat arrivals, forcing the government to ramp up border security patrols on the water and in the air.
The largest and most capable maritime surveillance and response fleet Australia has ever deployed.
Any people smuggling ventures that seek to come and breach our maritime borders will be detected.
US officials will head to Nauru in coming days to begin security and health checks, the first steps in selecting the new American citizens. But we don't know yet how many the US will take or when the resettlement will actually begin. Like so much in the asylum space, Rob, there is precious little detail.
And Trukai Sports is next. We'll join Jeremy Moggy with all the latest of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup after the break.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The Pukpuks conceded defeat against tournament hosts Hong Kong in their first ever Tier 2 World Rugby Tournament on Friday evening. Pukpuks lost crucial halfback Nigel Genia in the first 15 minutes to a fractured ankle while making a break as PNG saw the opportunity to score. The unfortunate benching of Genia forced fullback Richard Aitzi to the scrum and Jonah Kautu to cover, with Stanis Susuve called off the bench to the wing. The 51-5 loss for the Pukpuks comes as an eye-opener for the national side, being exposed to the next level of competition. The Pukpuks are playing against World Rugby's Tier 2 nations, a step up from the Federation of Oceania Rugby Cup. And we now join our Football First host, Jeremy Moggy, with all the hype on day one of the FIFA World Cup PNG 2016.
Thank you, Lorraine. The FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup hype has reached momentum as fans, not only for the PNG side, but other countries participating as well, gathered at the Bava Park and Sir John Guy's Stadium 2 hours before the 4 p.m. kickoff this afternoon. Dini Rose Raiko spoke to some of the football fans.
7 o'clock night tonight.
Go PNG!
Go PNG, go!
Go!
Go PNG, go!
Give football fans in the nation's capital a chance to experience the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup matches outside the stadiums on the big LED screen. Now fans can cheer on their favorite teams as well as participate in fun activities at the fan zone.
Port Moresby can experience the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup tournament outside the stadiums through the fan zone. This gives the opportunity for fans who are not able to watch the matches at the venues to celebrate women's football and cheer on their favorite teams. The fan zone at the Vision City Amphitheatre can hold up to 400 supporters. Also, fans can take part in fun and exciting activities such as the mini pitch setup. For Mini Live Your Goals Festival with football skills session for girls and boys. The fan zone will be streaming the games live on a giant LED screen, and during the breaks there will be traditional dances, fashion shows and dance competitions right throughout the duration of the tournament. There will also be food and beverage booths. People can also enjoy the recently launched Season 1 of the Coke Studio with songs by PNG's very own favorite musicians. The tournament's official song was performed live publicly for the first time at the fan zone opening ceremony yesterday. The song Kumul Suza was written and composed by Mariani Maseni and Daddy G as the official song of this year's FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup Papua New Guinea 2016. Shane Saroya, National EMTV Sports.
Wonderful scenes there. Now there were two matches played this afternoon. The first between North Korea and Sweden, which was held at the Sejonggai Stadium. The results from that match have North Korea defeating Sweden by 2-0. And in the match that was held over at Bava Park this afternoon between European heavyweights Spain and North American heavyweights Canada, had the Spanish national team defeat their North American rivals by 5-0. And earlier before that, it was North Korea who had taken a 1-0 lead at halftime before doubling their lead towards the end of the match. Later on tonight, we'll be seeing Japan and Nigeria, and of course Papua New Guinea taking on Brazil. That's it for me. It's back to Lorraine with the news.
Thank you, Jeremy. And a reminder again, our live telecast of the match between PNG and Brazil is at 7 p.m. Up next, we'll have the weather details.
Kai Sports. True Kai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Taking a look at the weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow in the southern region, it's mostly fine and sunny in Port Moresby, fine in Daru, Alotau and Popondetta, and mostly fine in Kerema. In the Momasa region, all centers are fine. In the New Guinea Islands, Lorengau, Kavieng, Kokopo, Rabaul and Kimbe are all fine, and a shower or two in Buka. In the Highlands region, a shower or two for all centers.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
And that has been the news, sports and weather this Sunday, the 13th of November 2016. Don't forget to stay tuned to EMTV. Our build-up show to the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup between PNG and Brazil is coming up after the news. I'm Lorraine Gabina on behalf of the news team. Pleasant viewing. Good night.